Hey everybody, what is going on? It's your boys, the33, bringing back to another episode of the Anarchy Analysis Teamfight Breakdown, where we're covering Immortals and Golden Guardians in this bottom half of the table matchup. Golden Guardians slightly ahead of Immortals, but obviously Immortals have made roster changes during the split. More specifically, they brought their entire academy team to the main stage, which has big names such as Smithy and Apollo and Hakuo in it. And this is the first time we're actually covering these two teams this split. And it's going to be very interesting as they've both made slight changes and they're both looking middle of the packy. And as a whole, this match means a lot if you're Immortals, as it's a way to get yourself up the table against a team that has struggled in recent weeks. But obviously, enough about this. Let us boot up the ever so lovely music for our background and get into Champion Select. So let's jump into the ban phase, starting with Golden Guardians on the blue side of things. They go in with the Ori ban, and they're trying to limit the safe options for Insanity, whom in the previous few games has struggled with his performances against the teams around him, like Dignitas. He kind of was the weak link in that game, and he always looks to force big plays, so removing a big play champion with that shockwave on Orianna is huge. The response though is the Karma ban from Immortals, as this is a strong pick that can go on Huhi, whom has rocked it before in this split and used it to some good success. Similarly, we could see Demonte rocking the champion, or even in the top side for Haunter, but obviously it has been removed off the pitch and not in play. Then we target the jungle with the next two bans, as Graves is removed off the pitch, as he's a big carry. Don't want Smithy rocking big carry champs because he becomes very, very powerful and is very good on the Graves, as he just picked up the win today on the champion against CLG. As for the next ban, it's the Olaf from Immortals side. They don't want Closer on that thing that can just run you down. Closer, I do believe, was the absolute man on it the last time, alongside that Karma pick, and demolished a lot of the competition that they used it against, and it was a very strong draft. Obviously the Karma could work with other champions, say like a Heka or a champion like Kha'Zix, who is rose to prevalence in this current patch, but obviously Olaf being banned out removes a lot of CC avoiding tools and damage on his kit. Last band now for this first phase is Ezreal, a very safe ADC for Apollo. It does mean that Callista has made it through the draft as a big carry threat, and Ezreal kind of has taken the role as the top ADC, and very, very strong in terms of the safety he provides. He can just sit back and Q the wave, as well as use his dashes to get back if he needs to, if there's a big dive. He's very, very safe and very strong, so getting him off the board is very, very good. And alongside him is the Volibear ban by Immortals. They continue to target that jungle pool of Closer, and it kind of does choke point him onto, say, his Lee Sin, which he has done phenomenally on. I remember him playing very, very clean on that champion. Whether or not is locked in for them, it's yet to be seen, because there is still some other strong options like the Kha'Zix. Lee Sin is an option, as well as Set is a big option. But without further ado, let's jump into the first 6 picks of the game. So the immediate locking is the Aphelios, the other prevalent ADC that has fallen off in recent patches with the changes to Death's Stance. Obviously, he still has a lot of power in his kit and is very, very versatile in how he tackles a team fight, but he obviously does lack that mobility and would really require, say, a Thresh or a Tahm Kench alongside him to give him a bit more movement tools. Even a Bard would work well, but obviously Aphelios is very strong in the laning phase, he's very strong in team fights, and can be very, very hard to kill towards the latter part of the game. However, the response is a champion that looks for these picks, and it's the Ashe, a champion that obviously has got a lot of vision tools, has a lot of lockup with the volley and the arrow. It's very hard for you to obviously not get locked down by this champion. She has such good CC as well as slowdowns. You will probably die before you get anywhere close to her by any pro player's performance of her. And locked in alongside her is a champion that does have a lot more CC than what Ashe does, as it's the Ornn. Obviously a great champion for scaling late game team comps, and very, very strong in team fights, especially with the call of the Forge God. So one big frontliner already locked in for IMT. Will we see some big frontliners on the Golden Guardian side as the first lock-in? Is that set? And the great thing about this lock-in that I enjoy is there's 2 build swim, and you can be flexed between 3 positions. And when I say there's 2 build swim, there's the very tanky build that has obviously a lot of resistances and tools, so you build armor, you build magic resist and health, or you have the Blade of the Rune King build where you build that, you build Trinity Force, and you're very, very damage heavy and very, very squishy, but you kind of want to take the damage obviously for your grit passive. But very strong as a champion that can be played top, jungle and support, and alongside it is a champion that does have his own big lockup tool in a gold card, which is the TF. A great Roman split push heavy champion, works very well alongside the set. You do have that chance of not wanting to teamfight with this champion because he does have very limited team fighting tools, but obviously with a set it makes up for his low team fight wantingness, I guess is the best way to put it. And you've essentially got 2 options in how you play this team comp. And the last lock-in for this phase is the Trundle, a great champion into set. Reason I say that is because it kind of nullifies which positions the set is going to be played. Because usually in the jungle and support you go the tanky build on the set. You want to build these resistances to be a big frontliner for your team. Well, Trundle nullifies that build style because he's obviously got that big subjugate ultimate that just drains the health out of the opposition. The more health that they have, the more health he gets back. So he wants big bulky boys, he nullifies tanks pretty well, and Set is a champion that will get punished by this Trundle if it's played well enough. Second ban phase now, we start things off with the middle ban out of Immortals, moving this roam-heavy jungler from the game, also a very squishy jungler, so it does kind of force positioning of the setup in terms of the fact that it makes it more likely to be jungle because they're banning out big jungle threats for Immortals, and yeah, very strong ban as a champion that's got a big amount of AP power as well as hit, heal and a hit. She has started rising to more and more prevalent, I guess, in the recent patches with a few more plays than what she was in patch 10.11. And as a whole, it is very, very strong. A good ban to say the least, as we do see these gear down out of Golden Guardians. Insanity is not getting his hands on a pick that's worked quite well for him, I guess. He has kind of forced a few big plays on the champion, though, which he doesn't need to do, but he's still very, very strong in this champion and can carry a game with it. And as such, the last ban in this phase is the Lee Sin. Closer is not getting his hands on his Lee Sin. It's ever so clean on, and as such, it is going to be put on the bench. And the last ban of this phase is the Thresh. Strong champion, very good at repositioning. Would have expected it to have not been banned, but it's obviously a very, very hard champion to obviously deal with because you can reposition your Felios, as well as the fact that it also would provide a bit of repositioning tool and lockup for an Ashe combo. Now let's finish out the drafting style. The first pick up within space for Immortals is a champion that recently returned to the meta, fell off quite a bit ago in spring, and has only just returned, and it's the Carthus. A very strong champion that has been seen more and more in lane, and in this game it will be in the mid lane instead of the jungle which we're used to. A strong champion in terms of the fact that you just press R to kill everyone, you build AP, you just kill everything. It's a very strong champion that just needs the R skill and a lot of AP to kill off anything in a team fight. And looking at the Golden Guardian side, because they realistically won't be drafting a tank because of their trundle, Carthus is a big threat for them, and it's a very nice pickup for IMT as they've read the situation well. The response though from Golden Guardians is a top lane pick, so we do know where that set's actually going to go, and it's going to go into the jungle or support. And GP, very strong in lane phase. It's a good solid blind pick champion, but it is going into Yorn, and this works out quite well because you're obviously looking to basically chain your barrels together when the Ornn charges forward at you. So you put one at where he is, you put one at where his pillar is, you then trigger the one that's obviously near him, and then as he's coming towards you, it double procs on him and basically does a ton of damage. And also, if he does actually hit you with that W, you can just cleanse it with your lemon or orange or whatever it is you have. It's a very good champion into it, and as such, the next pickup alongside it works very well in locking down the enemies, as a Bard is picked up here. The Tempered Fate Machine has been picked up for Golden Guardians in the support role, and set is obviously in jungle now. Bard, very good at repositioning. He's a great roamer. He gets around the map looking for them, trying once he gets them trying. He becomes very powerful in team fights as he can just Q lock two people up, and he also provides a healing totem to everyone. And yeah, he's very good at being this nuisance. He's hard to kill. Good at locking up team fights, stalling out objectives, and considering there's a Carthus on the board, he provides this basically AoE Zonya for his team, so the Carthus realistically can't kill you because you can time it with the cast of Requiem. Now the final pick in this game is a champion that goes quite well alongside the Carthus in the Morgana. Morg is a great champion in the current meta, as she has the Black Shield. It's a tool that makes it so that these team fights, which most teams are now going towards these team fight heavy comps, it means that the lockup of a team just gets cancelled. And you look at the Golden Guardian side, they have the set lockup, they have the TF lockup, they have the Affiliate's route, they have the Bard lockup. It's a very good tool at negating these effects, and as a whole is a very strong champion who has her own lockup that works exceptionally well with the Ashe. Now, enough about this, let's jump into this team fight where we're going to be breaking down these two comps as a whole and the aim of this team fight for either team. Coming off of a 4-kill fight, IMT turned to the Baron without killing this one control ward, and this is now the start of the team fight. Golden Guardians turn up and immediately a Tempered Fate onto the Baron. Make sure IMT are not getting this at all without a fight. IMT target the isolated TF who has Nimbus Cloak and Cleanse, so immediately cleanses, immediately gets that speed boost from the cleanse use, and he runs away, kind of forcing the IMT overcommit as they burn Flash on the Morg in order to try and hit him with the binding. However, Golden Guardian's Bard, with his passive with the Meeps, is able to keep slowing down the 4 members of IMT trying to kill off this TF, and essentially disallows the set to come in from the side and hit the showstopper, dumpstering the Karthus. Immediately put into his passive, Karthus forces an early stopwatch out of the Aphelios as he just gets chunked by one singular Q, and this allows for a 5-man Requiem to hit. Now, with the Requiem assisting in a kill in a split push fight between GP and Ornn, the rest of IMT chase down the 3 GG members. Closer gets trapped in by the Trundle Pillar and is immediately killed off, and the 3 remaining Golden Guardian members are left to scurry away as IMT turn towards the Baron. However, proactive thinking coming out of the Golden Guardians is Infernal Soul is on the table for them. Bard, Aphelios and TF all head towards the Dragon Pit, looking to trade Baron for Soul, but IMT were not allowing this to happen. Pulling away from the Baron Pit, IMT run it down to the bottom river, forcing Golden Guardians away from the pit as it would have been a 4v3 at this point of the fight. However, home guarded up, ready to fight, GP TPs in behind the IMT members with a flank, and his cannon barrage chips down 3 members of IMT, putting them in a vulnerable position as they take the Drake to stop the Infernal Soul. IMT stopped the Drake stacking, they secured this Infernal Drake, and this comes at a big cost, as the blue card kills off the low health Morgana, and an Infernum Flames that came off of its smithy takes out the Ashe. Now, without a safety net of the Black Shield and your main damage dealer carry, IMT are looking pretty weak as there's 3 juicy targets for Golden Guardians to clean up. Karthus is then ran down, and the Ornn is CC chained to death at the same time, and Trundle is then left alone to die in the hands of the Golden Guardians. And then it's just very, very easy for them to run it down the bot lane, kill the inhibitor, and kill the game, giving the win over to Golden Guardians, clawing it back from essentially defeat, and using their proactive thinking to beat IMT. So let's break down this game as a whole. Was it one-sided? No, I don't think it was at all. You're looking at the drafts, they both have clear ways they want to play. IMT want to pick off people with the Ashe Arrow, which we saw at the start of this entire fight. Golden Guardians, though, wanted to teamfight and split push the map, and we saw bits of that as they tried to split into a fight. They peeled quite well and obviously went in a bit more split. And the big thing to note was the way that these two comps played was how they wanted to play, but you have to hand it to Golden Guardians' actual in-game communication and actual thinking and logic to obviously force IMT away from a Baron. Now, if I was IMT, I think it would have been better to have just stayed on Baron and took the trade. Reason being, you'd have gotten a bit more time to push, kill off the turrets that you're not getting. You stop the split push top because you can just sit Ornn up there with Baron empowered minions, and it's very hard for the GP to obviously deal with that. He has to create big barrel chains that you can just sit in the middle of the wave and kill off, and not allowing essentially a GP a free reign to split push. And as such, you could essentially then force mid wave, force your way through there, and then contested the Elder Drake where your team comp would have been a lot stronger. You could have set up quite easily with the Baron play, and as a whole actually controlled the map a bit more. But the only thing would be you're risking your lives against Elder to an Infernal Soul team, which could just literally just split push and force you away from the Elder, because they're going over to top side, they're going bot side with the Destiny, forcing you out of position, forcing you to respond, or you lose the game. So it was kind of a catch-22 situation for IMT, but if they played it that way, they could have at least kept the game going, or if not, the same result would have happened with TF just TPing, getting a force down onto a turret, getting an inhib, and then winning the game. Nevertheless, that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like down below, subscribe if you're new around here if you want to, and I will see you guys later. Peace out.